All right, so the first step is going to be to put the tow hitch on. I have my tow hitch sitting here. I've got one from Weight Safe that I like. It's really heavy, but it does a cool little thing where it will measure the tongue weight. So, and it's also adjustable in the height because I need to figure out what height we're going to use for this. So underneath of the IQ, there are these little tabs. You just turn them straight. It's a nice design. No screws needed, no tools needed, and you can just pop that off. So I'm just gonna set you guys right over here. Again, this just kind of drops off. Set this somewhere safe. It is painted, so be careful with it. And then you're just going to put your receiver right on in. I'm gonna use the further out extended for now, just to make sure that it sticks out far enough for my trailer to clear. I would usually suggest using a locking pin, but all I'm going to do is drive around in kind of a big loop or so. Not actually worried about anybody taking my trailer. So just for simplicity, I'm going to use that one here and pick you guys up, show you what that looks like. The IQ actually does have both the 4-pin connector and the 7-pin connector built in right there in a nice convenient spot, so that's pretty awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and get the trailer. My light trailer I normally would just drop on there by hand, but I am gonna back up to it because that's kind of one of the things that we want to test on this. All right, so I've got my tow hitch on here, got that drop down. I think it's about like a 4 or 5 inch drop on that, just trying to estimate what will make this trailer ride flat. I've got the trusty old junk landscape trailer from Big Tex I'm gonna hook it up to. No trailer brakes or anything, single axle. It's about 1,500 pound trailer. So let's jump in and see how this goes. So we get in, go ahead and throw it in reverse. I'm gonna leave it in the regular view for right now. To get closer, it does have a really cool hitch view. So if you hit hitch on here, it'll switch to directly above. Looks like it is. You can just make out the ball hitch there just a little bit. Should be good enough to actually be able to see it. But let's switch back to standard so we can try and line this up. I'm gonna try and do this at the same time as recording, so I'll probably miss the first time. First time doing it with this too. Looks like the sensors are gonna give me a little bit of trouble here. It's giving me a warning. Let's switch to hitch view and see if we can see the trailer yet. And we can. So this is really cool. This actually might work. It's very, very touchy, and I don't want to go and hit the back of the truck, but it looks like I could probably get that pretty damn close. I think I nailed it there. Let's go ahead and put it in park. Step out and see how I did. See more so how their camera was, because that said it was right on. Pretty damn close. Now, if this was a heavy trailer, that actually would be a problem. I'd have to go back and get in the truck again and move, because that's not going to drop on there cleanly. But again, I got nothing loaded on the trailer, so easy enough to just move it like that. So we're all set up here. We have our Can-Am on the trailer. Can-Am's about 1,500 pounds. The trailer's about 1,500 pounds. So we have that all strapped up. There's a strap on the other side, just so you guys know. You do always want to make sure that there's something strapping down the back as well. If you had to mash on the brakes, or if you hit something, you don't want that to, flip over in the back end, land on top of you. Anyway, like I said, I had that weight safe hitch on here. It's sitting right about 250 to 300 pounds of tongue weight. The tongue weight on the Escalade IQ, actually the max is 500, so that's kind of light. But anyway, that's a little bit lighter than what I would want for a 3,000 pound trailer. You'd probably want to be right around that 300, and I think it's closer to 250, but that's perfectly fine for right now. Go ahead and jump in. So first thing that we are going to do now that we are actually inside the car is going to go to our drive modes. And in the drive mode, we actually have a tow and haul. So we can go to tow and haul. You can see it changes our settings over there a little bit. And there's an info button here. We can go to the info button. just has a little bit of a screen here. It says check your vehicle's max towing capacity. It really should just read it out right there for you. That would be smart, and people would, you know, then maybe pay more attention to it. But anyway, it's 8,000 pounds on this, which is kind of light for a vehicle that weighs 9,000, but it is what it is. Just noticed something interesting. The rear view camera, that's way too close. So I always use the digital. I like it. But I think this time we might actually flip back to normal, so we can kind of try and see out the back. And let's just take a look at what our cameras look like. So if we go to our cameras, hitch view, can't really see much, but that did work pretty nice. It was not exactly on, but it was pretty close for lining the hitch up. If we go to overhead, that kind of helpful. Standard view, that's nice. You got a pretty good view of what's behind you. You can definitely use that to check out, make sure that nothing's going wrong. So without further ado, let's go ahead and throw it into drive. So I went ahead and reset the trip odometer so that I can get all the energy information for us, and I started the video before I've even put it into drive, just to literally get our very first impressions. So let's go. Just throw it in drive, and off we go. And immediately I noticed that it drives fantastic. It feels exactly how the vehicle does when it doesn't have a trailer. It's not surprising with a 9,000 pound vehicle and a lot of horsepower, a lot of torque. Let's see. Oh, I just hit the VMAX mode. I always drive with that on, so just trying to be as normal as possible here, but I did press that button. I'm surprised that it will let you go into VMAX mode while towing. So I'm just going to kind of pull out here. I got a couple miles of some rural roads before we actually get onto a highway. I do want to put some real mileage on this to see what it gets while towing. We're just accelerating up to 50 right now, and that felt great. You can't even really tell that it's behind you. It feels solid. There's no extra creaks or anything. So far this is going really well. All right, so we're back and we're cruising along, and I wanted to show you guys a couple things. I do have it on self-driving right now, which is, I'm surprised. I probably could have read about it, but it says that it works. It knows that I'm towing. It's connected to a tow hitch, and there's a little towing symbol right there next to the park. So yeah, we are self-driving, no hands. The Super Cruise is working. That's pretty cool. All right, so I'm back, and we've picked up the pace a little bit now. We're doing 76, maybe even gonna go a little quicker than that, and it is killing the mileage. So we have, you'll see a little spike there over the, that was just when I got off on an exit ramp, got a little bit of regen, but we are getting 1.2 miles per kilowatt. That is not ideal. That's not going to get us too far. I did notice something else that I'm not crazy about, which is here, if you see where it says 89%, 415 miles, it clearly did not update based on the fact that I'm towing and that I'm getting way worse mileage. So that could be misleading. That's going to throw some people off. I would hate to be basing where I'm going to go and get off of that. Also, I put a destination in here, and it's saying that I'm going to get there with 87%, and that is in 12 miles. That's not going to happen. I'm at 89 right now, and we know that we're getting close to 1 mile per kilowatt, so that's not going to happen. So obviously that is also not accurate. But those are things that we just need to kind of calculate ourselves, and that'll be perfectly fine. I had a thought, and that is that the camera that points out the back for the digital rear view and the display, I've never liked that on the Escalade IQ, it's in the center of the vehicle. It's right around where the logo is. It's really low. It makes the vehicles behind you look like they're higher than you or bigger or coming up closer. Whereas in comparison to, say, my wife's Land Rover Defender, it's actually in the back of that fin that sits on top, and you kind of look down on everything. It's a cool view, gives you a better, the higher you are, the more you can see. Anyway, when you're towing, it's not the weight that is the problem. It is the aerodynamics. So like the trailer that I have right now, it's very light. It's only 3,000 pounds. If I were to hypothetically add 3,000 pounds inside this vehicle, it probably wouldn't change anything. But it has a big drop gate on the back and the fender flares and everything on that, it's just dragging so much air behind me. The faster I go, the lower my mileage gets. I'm at about 25 miles now, and we've settled in at 1.2 miles per kilowatt. That is very consistent. It's staying right there. I'm driving about 70 on average, and I do have the AC on just a little bit. It's about 71 degrees outside, so that's not working too hard. And that's about what we're gonna get. All right, I'm actually gonna give you my final thoughts now while I'm still driving. There's no need to wait till I get home. The math is easy. I did about 30 miles and averaged 1.2 miles per kilowatt hour. That was with mostly highway driving, because that is what you would be doing on a road trip. I know this is just a sample, but from this we can extrapolate what it's going to do, and that is going to be that, as expected, towing in an EV, you're going to get half of the normal mileage. That's what I've seen in other EVs. That's what's to be expected. So with that being said, if we do the math, 200 kilowatt hours times 1.2, we're going to be at 240 miles. That's a pretty damn good range. That's the range that some EVs have without towing. So that I like that. And that also equates to, probably, depending on where you're going, how fast you're driving and the type of roads and stuff, but that's about a 2-hour trip one way, and then coming back without charging. It tows nice too. So that's kind of, overall, I would say I'd give this about a 9 out of 10 when it comes to towing for an EV. This thing is really a beast when it comes to mileage. You can't beat it, because you can also charge it fast. So here are the final results. It actually did bump up to 1.3 as I drove through the neighborhood and got a little last regen, but I would say that the 1.2 is a safer number if you're going to be on the highway. Let's go back to our trip info. 31 miles. So that's what we did. As I got back home, I did notice something else that I hadn't before, was that when I went to back this back into my driveway, I noticed it's kind of challenging. I know how to back a trailer pretty well, but our camera completely blocks it. I can't see where my driveway is from this, like I said, because it's got that low viewpoint, and none of the other options really give you anything where you can see. Maybe that side view might be helpful. That's probably what I'll end up using, because a well-known problem with the Cadillac Escalade IQ is this passenger mirror. They did not do a convex mirror on this. I get it. It's a regulation. They weren't allowed to, but they should have come up with some other solution. As you can see, I have a little convex mirror stuck on there, and by little, it's actually 4.5 inches. Got it on Amazon for like $10 or something, and it's just double-sided sticky tape on there. That's terrible that that's what you have to do, but also that is necessary. The blind spot is so bad on this car. Without that, it's easy fix, but I wish that convex mirror was the size of the regular mirror, because then I could probably actually see in that well enough to I can make sure that there's no one in my blind spot. But for trying to back this up and line up the tire, that's just too small. Okay, so one last thing I found as I was trying to put the trailer back is that when you put it into trailering mode, it does not turn off the rear parking sensors, which is just crazy to me. It absolutely should. Obviously, the trailer is going to set it off all day long. So as you can see, it's all upset that there's something back there, and as I try and reverse, it slams on the brakes and stops me dead. That's really, really annoying, but there's a super easy workaround to it. So I'm almost kind of frustrated with myself that I let myself get frustrated rather than just doing this. You go to the controls, you go to drive, you go to park, turn park assist off. Once park assist is off, then we are all good, and we can reverse as we need without needing to worry about it slamming on the brakes. No big deal. Anyway, they could have gotten that a little better by turning that off for us automatically, but we can do it ourselves. Thanks a lot. If you enjoyed this video, found it informative, please give me a like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. It's a new channel. I only have like 135 subscribers, so I'm really trying to get that up. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.